All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something completely mind-bending. We're breaking down a massive high-energy investigation titled The God Frequency, the Watermarked Human, or as it's sometimes called, the Patented Person. Right off the bat, I want to be totally clear. This entire body of work, the research, the design, the whole infrastructure, was put together by Michelle, who goes by the Moral Compass. What we're looking at is her incredible 15-year investigation, spanning from 2011 all the way to 2027. It's a sprawling roadmap that connects ancient prophecy, cutting-edge technology, and human biology. So let's jump right in and see exactly what she's uncovered. Okay, let's start with the massive hook of this entire investigation, the idea that 2027 is the date they throw the switch. Now, according to Michelle's framework, humanity is basically hurtling toward this pivotal gateway where synthetic technology and natural human biology permanently fuse together. And look, it's not framed as the end of the world, but rather a system reset. Her research argues that we're living in this highly specific transitional window right now. Understanding this exact timeline is absolutely crucial if we're going to grasp the rest of the puzzle. To get why 2027 is such a big deal, we have to look at the buildup, an 80-year countdown that the chronicles refer to as the Tesla cycle. It kicks off way back in 1947 with the birth of the modern intelligence apparatus. That's when certain classified physics and advanced tech were locked away from the public. Fast forward, and the timeline identifies 2024 as a massive acceleration point, leading right into corporate integrations in 2025 and then 6G grid activations in 2026. Then, boom, we hit the 80-year mark, 2027, the expiration of the cycle and the supposed operational deadline for all this hidden technology to go live. So in the 2011 to 2027 chronicles, 2027 isn't just a random date on a calendar. It represents the moment a synthetic canopy achieves 100% full saturation. Michelle describes this specific moment as the lock on the human temple. It's basically the point where an artificial, programmable grid is fully dropped over the natural world. The goal? To permanently seal the human spirit inside a technological framework. But, to understand how a lock like that actually functions, we have to zoom in. Way in. To see the mechanics of this, we're abruptly dropping down to the microscopic level, right into what ancient texts call the Great Deep, inside your own body. We need to talk about H3O2, which is structured water. Imagine a hexagonal, gel-like liquid crystal. It's essentially water that behaves like a solid, structured network right inside your cells. In Michelle's research, this isn't just about staying hydrated. It's literally the biological battery of your body. It carries a negative charge, it holds memory, and it acts as the divine liquid powering your life force. Now, this is where ancient text meets modern biology in a really fascinating way. It maps out the molecular translation of the famous iron and clay prophecy from the book of Daniel. On one side, we have the clay. That's your natural carbon biology. It's fluid, it's dynamic, and it's powered by that living H3O2 structured water. On the exact opposite side, we have the iron. This represents cold synthetic nanoparticles, specifically graphene oxide, being introduced into the environment and into us. The old prophecy says iron and clay will mix, but they won't naturally bond. So how does that mixing actually happen? Well, graphene oxide shares the exact same six-sided hexagonal shape as your natural H3O2 structured water. It's a geometric match. Through environmental exposure, we ingest these synthetic nanoparticles. And because the shapes perfectly align, the graphene literally locks into your water's structure, building this artificial metallic scaffolding inside your cells. And the grand finale of this process? That scaffolding essentially turns your physical body into a highly conductive synthetic antenna. Now, if your body is suddenly hosting an artificial metallic scaffolding, it opens up a genuinely terrifying legal loophole. We're talking about actual, updated Supreme Court precedents on patent law here. The law says natural human DNA cannot be patented. You own yourself, right? But synthetic or recombinant DNA molecules or artificial operating systems placed inside a host, those absolutely are patentable because they are man-made. This distinction bridges biological changes straight into corporate law. And that brings us to the core, provocative concept that Michelle calls the patented person and the watermarked human. Think about it. If there is synthetic scaffolding, nanoparticles, or biological software running inside your body, and a megacorporation owns the patent to that specific technology, who ultimately owns you? Does your physical body suddenly become corporate intellectual property? That's the dilemma of the watermarked human, a person whose inner biology is governed by a synthetic construct they don't legally own.
This totally aligns with concepts being openly discussed right now in global economic forums and policy papers, like the RAND RR326 report. They outline something called the Internet of Bodies. It's a future where human beings lose complete biological privacy. In this framework, people are treated as predictable data points, literally hackable animals. The idea is that disconnection, depression, and living at low frequencies make our human signals weak, and a weak signal makes it incredibly easy for an external, synthetic network to just swoop in and overwrite your natural free will with their data.
So, what connects that external network to the iron scaffolding inside you? According to the Chronicles, that is exactly what 6G is for. We aren't talking about faster cell phone service. 6G is designed to act as a literal synthetic nervous system for biology. It uses terahertz frequencies, ultra-high-speed data waves that easily penetrate biological tissue to create a digital twin of you. It pings that metallic scaffolding inside your cells, plugging you directly into a global hive mind. It's an invisible grid using biometric liveness detection to ensure total, continuous synchronization. You can really see how this leaves humanity standing at a massive crossroads. Over here, we have your original design, inherent sovereignty. That means keeping your private thoughts, maintaining your natural resonance with the earth, and staying effectively off-grid from synthetic control. Over there, you have the hive mind. That's where you become predictable data, your biology gets patented, and your connectivity is constantly hacked, overwritten, and managed by this liquid machine. Okay, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, take a deep breath, because this explainer is absolutely not about doom and gloom. Right here is where the investigation pivots to an empowering biological manual override. Michelle calls this the watchman's defense. Since this machine operates on a very physical, chemical level inside your body, the defense against it must also be physical and biological. We aren't helpless here. There are practical, actionable orders for remaining unhackable. The biological cleansing protocols she outlines are actually surprisingly accessible. I mean, who knew the humble dandelion weed growing in your driveway could be a bioelectric defense mechanism? Because the synthetic grid relies on metals, the iron, you have to literally pull it out of your clay. The research points to foraging wild dandelion roots and natural pine resin. These act as chelating agents, meaning they chemically bind to the synthetic iron and dissolve that hexagonal scaffolding. Combine that with filtering your water through natural earth, actively grounding yourself, and breaking sync with smart cities, and you physically start extracting the machine. And what happens when you do this? You restore your bioelectric shield. By using things like dandelions and pine resin to break down the metal, and by physically grounding your body to the earth, you flush the machine's signal right out of your biological cache. You restore your body's natural torus field, which is basically your natural energy bubble. The framework suggests that when your cellular water is clean, you function as a sovereign resonator. You literally become unaffected by the localized plasma broadcasts trying to hack into you. This clean, unhackable state is what Michelle refers to as maintaining the frequency of holy. It's all about keeping your biological source code, your living H3O2 water, completely unformatted and pristine. When you operate on this original, high vibrational human frequency, you act as non-compatible hardware to their synthetic system. You're unpredictable. You're sovereign. You essentially become invisible to the digital grid because it literally cannot interface with your clean internal data. Ultimately, Michelle the Moral Compass's 15-year investigation leaves us with a truly provocative question, especially as we count down the final years of this 80-year Tesla cycle. As that 2027 gateway rapidly approaches, are you tuning your body into the synthetic grid or the original frequency? The incredible thing is, the choice of who controls the antenna inside your very own body is still yours to make. Protect your temple, stay grounded, and as always, keep seeking the truth.